I'm a recruiter who reviews your resumes. The resume we have up first is a software engineer, new grad. This person says, I've applied to over 200 roles since January, 0 interviews. So this is a bad resume because you should be getting at least 1 interview per 50 applications. And if you follow my methods, you should be getting 1 interview per 7 applications. That's the average. They said it takes around 15 to 30 minutes to apply to each role. There is a way to counteract that, which I can tell you later. I just started a non-technical role at a construction firm, so it's not technical, but this is not what you wanted. So what we need in a software engineer, and honestly, the new grad part doesn't really matter. The only difference between a new grad and a senior is years of experience. Everything else is the same. So the reason you're struggling is you failed. You failed to pick a stack. Software engineering is stack-based. I have worked for language-agnostic roles. I want to clarify, they are few and far between, and even on those language-agnostic roles, they prefer a certain language. So you need to pick back-end Java or back-end Python or back-end C#.net or full stack or front-end. If you do not pick those 5, you are going to be in for a bad time. So I see Python out of the corner of my eye, so I'm going to judge this as if this was a Python developer. Are you not a Python developer? Well, too bad. You need to pick a stack. Now, I don't necessarily mean to say you need to focus all of your efforts entirely on it, but you need to structure your resume to a certain stack. And you can have multiple resumes. One for a Java developer, one for a Python developer, one for full stack, one for front end. That's fine. But your resume needs to be stack-based for a software engineer or you will fail. And then you're going to ask me, what about AI engineers? Well, most AI engineers want you to be a back-end software engineer with a little bit of AI. So you still want to pick a stack. So what we need is Python, SQL, any of them, Docker, Cloud, RESTful APIs, or REST APIs, Git, CI/CD, and then for a Python developer, this is where it starts to break into something a little bit different, is we need to see either AI or full stack. And yes, the full stack you want for a Python is different than if you're going for a full stack role. But we either break it down into AI or Python, and then I also need to see, nice to have, is Fast API, Flask, Django, Rare, ETL, Java, OAuth, OS2, MongoDB, and Microsoft architecture. So 20 seconds is on the clock. That is all the amount of time recruiters have to view your resume. If it takes longer than that, the recruiter will get fired, not laid off. Laid off is no fault. Fired is for fault, and you would be at fault as a recruiter for taking longer than this on a resume. So 20 seconds. Let's see what I can find, which probably not, and go. Okay, formatting's clean. Enhance financial pipelines for utilizing React. Okay, Python to aggregate. What? Conducted client discovery through structured stakeholder interviews with we're hiring a software engineer, bro. Responsive for prototyping, bias detection using Python and OOP. Okay, to machine learning and time. That is it. So, these are bad bullet points. The first one is okay, but why? You need to make sure your resume is razor focused on a particular job description, right? So you need to tailor your resume to a certain job title. Sorry, let me read my head. I'm having a migraine right now, so my brain is not braining. Redo. You need to tailor your resume to a job title, not a job itself. What this means in the case of a software engineer is Python or backend Java or full stack, whatever. So you tailor your resume, and again, you can have multiple ones, to a job title. In that job title, you need to be very specific about what you mentioned, because if you give us too many hot dogs, we will not move you forward when we need hamburgers. Let me explain. I want you to imagine that you are hungry. You go to a burger restaurant and you say, hey, waiter, I would like a cheeseburger with pickles and onions. They say, cheeseburger and pickles and onions. You say, cheeseburger, pickles, onions. They say, all right, cheeseburger, pickles, and onions. Right away, I'll have that out for you. So they go to the kitchen, they come back, and they bring you a hot dog with cheese, pickles, and onions. And they say, all right, here's your cheeseburger. And you'd be like, I wanted, this is not a cheeseburger. This is a hot dog with pickles and onions and cheese. And they say, well, a hamburger has meat just like a hot dog. A hot dog has buns just like a hamburger. A hot dog can have cheese, pickles, and onions just like a hamburger. So thus, this is what you wanted. You wanted a hot dog. You would look at them like they were crazy and you would leave. And that is the exact problem this resume has, is you give me a lot of stuff that is tangentially related to what I'm looking for, but not what I'm actually looking for, which is this stuff. So, to break down these bullet points, let me show you why they do not work. Also, formatting, like I said, is mostly good. This is how I want people to write their resume. This is fine. I don't really see any difference in this, so that's good. There's a slight, probably a slight too big of a gap here, and the resume should start a little bit earlier, but that's very, very minor overall. The bigger issue is the bullet points themselves. So, also, the link to that is in the description below. So, enhanced financial data pipelines for 300K portfolio. Why? Why do I care that it had a 300K portfolio? Why do I care that you enhanced financial pipelines? I don't. Utilizing React, Python, and Fast API, okay, that part is good. To aggregate stock value, increasing club stock analysis. What? So, what? I want you to rewrite this and instead say used Python, React, and then more of the stuff from up here, because remember, Fast API is nice to have, to create a stock valuation metric so that we could analyze stock for our club. That is how I want you. No one cares that you had a 300K portfolio for this. Like, what? Also, don't... Okay. So in this example, I need to fix this on my website, but this is work history plus internships. You need a separate one for projects. So I am very confused. What is internship? What is a project here? And what is a actual work experience? And you being the lead systems engineer for a college investment club screams as a somebody that is trying to overhype their experience. So don't, if this is not work experience, it's just projects or internships. And internships should go above projects. And for projects, I don't need to know your dates of employment. Projects are projects. You decide those, they're projects. Internships, I do. So, conducted client discovery and requirements gathering. Again, that's nothing there is what I'm looking for. Responsible for prototyping bias detection features using Python, okay, and OOP to apply machine learning libraries. This doesn't matter. To quantify discrimination. Why do I care about that? Again, AI is nice, but I need more. Automated reasoning using a Bayesian hierarchy model to combine data from this means nothing, does not matter. Like, this is you have filled your resume with hot dogs. And this is why you are struggling. I have gotten people jobs at Microsoft. This is, like, people will argue in the comments, but, like, no, this is what you need to do for, like, Microsoft and Fang level. All the jobs you need to do this for. You need to tell me the basics. You know what I don't see? I don't see you use SQL. I don't see you used RESTful or REST APIs. I don't see that you used any cloud. I see a teeny bit of AI, which is okay, but even then, I'd probably prefer more, what's the word? I'd probably prefer more agentic than anything else. And chatbots are usually not looked well upon normally. Sometimes they do. And then I also want to see, like, Docker and Git and CI/CD, and I don't see any of it. You have the only thing that is really here in your resume is this, and then everything else is garbage. And this is why you are struggling to get interviews, is you're trying to impress them with your resume, but no one's going to be impressed by your resume. No one is impressed by any resume. A resume is, at its core, a document that shows you the bare bones basic qualifications. If it doesn't show the bare bones basic qualifications, it does not work as a resume. Now your next question is, well, hold on, Lee. Where do I show how much better I am than everybody else? The interview. That's where you do it. To get an interview, you make it boring and basic. At the interview, then you show them that you used a Bayesian hierarchy model to combine data and an enhanced digital neural network to interface digital astrocytes, non-neurons with neurons, right? That's for the interview. But for the actual resume, you don't want to do this stuff. So this is why you're failing. And these tweaks are not that hard to make, but once you do them, you should see about a 1 in 7. Now, as an entry level, maybe more closer to a 1 in 15, but on average, people get a 1 interview per 7 applications by following my advice. So that's all I can do for this resume, and I just want to thank everybody for watching and liking and commenting and sharing. That really helps me out. I really appreciate it, and if you ever need more help, you can always join my live stream every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 11 a.m. PST at both YouTube and Twitch at twitch.tv/headlestheadhunter. And before we go to the next resume, I just want to thank my members. They get access to videos a little bit early. Thank you for supporting my channel. I really, really appreciate it. And if anybody wants to be a member, they can join in the link below. But let's go to the next resume. This is a resume of Naruto and Uzumaki. So what we're actually looking for, this is for a data analyst, and a data analyst needs degree, industry, SQL, data visualization, Tableau, Power BI, Looker, influencing stakeholders, explaining technical concepts to non-technical stakeholders, how you solved a problem with data, not what the data is, MS Excel, macros, pivot tables, VLOOKUP, Word, ETL, Python, probably not R. I think I can safely remove that. I need to do that. Multiple projects and deadlines, and nice to have is cloud. So this person, we do not know their ratio. They said this is the updated resume based on their previous review. I am an auditor trying to move into data analyst roles with the help of my master. So let's see how good or bad this is. 20 seconds on the clock. And I want to clarify, one of the most important things is how you solved a problem with data, not what the data is. So many data analysts focus about how they got the data and how they analyze the data. Nobody cares. They just want to know what you use the data for. So 20 seconds on the clock and go. Okay, that's fine. Okay, that's fine. Used Python and SQL to clean. I don't care that you cleaned. Creating visualization. What do you mean to identify? Not enough. Built an interactive Tableau map. What do you mean Tableau map? To compare cities, allowing users. I need more. Evaluate health data in R. Okay. So this is not good. The core of it's there, though. The big thing is I just don't have enough, right? I don't have enough here. There is a lot of hot dogs, and formatting-wise, you can use the acronym for this, right? So GIT, so it fits on one line. And then you can use this for PSU, I think it would be, to fit on one line. Both of these should fit on one line. You do not need 4 lines for this. Both should be one. Then we go down to here, and data analyst projects is fine, right? That's good. I don't really need a date for this. Projects don't need dates because projects are projects. So this doesn't need to be there. That's okay. And then this is where we get into the actual problems is used Python and SQL. Okay, good. To clean and analyze 3 million compliant records. Why do I care that you cleaned? Every single data analyst focuses on like cleaning and validating. And the problem is nobody cares when you get to corporate world. So I don't want to see that, right? You can instead say used Python and SQL to create data visualizations, parentheses, Tableau, to identify service patterns amongst boroughs or something. The rest of this is a little confusing. So you need to simplify this a little bit more. And then built an interactive, again, that's okay. But there's only one. And the goal should be 3 keywords per sentence. That's the goal. A minimum, 3 to 6. 3 minimum, 6 maximum. This already has Tableau. And the problem is the Tableau should really be up here in the first sentence. So nothing in this sentence actually matters. And then evaluated health data in R. Okay, that's fine. 2, identify patterns with heart disease. Okay, good. And then the problem is the rest of this is junk. So my biggest thing is the only things I find is Python, SQL, Tableau, R. And if you notice, I don't see anything about, I actually don't see the industry. I don't really know what industry you're in. I don't see you influencing stakeholders. And again, it doesn't even necessarily have to be stakeholders. I just need to see you influencing people. I don't see you explaining technical concepts to non-technical people. I don't really see how you solved a problem with data. Kind of. I don't see MS Excel. I don't see Word. I don't see ETL. I don't see Python. I don't see multiple projects and deadlines. and cloud is nice to have, so I don't see that. So like you've wasted so much space here to the point where they may not even get down to here, which is reviewed customer retirement data in Excel, perfect, using pivot tables and VLOOKUP to identify high-risk population, so that's good. Although again, we run into the problem of there's only one keyword here, we need at least another 2 more. Excel counts as 1. So I need you to redo these because most of this just does not count. And if you remove the stuff that doesn't count, well, you're kind of left with almost nothing. And remember, I need 75% of this to move you forward. If I don't see 75%, I cannot move you forward. So while your degree is fine, the big issue is just these bullet points have nothing in them. Like you have one okay bullet point, and then the rest of them are very, very mid. So Naruto, please use some kind of jutsu to fix your bullet points, because right now that is the real problem. Again, the minor formatting issue of this being on one line and this being on one line, not a big deal, should still fix it, but these bullet points are anemic, and we need better bullet points or else you're not going to get moved forward. Next resume. This is a resume of a full stack software Java developer. Kind of, not really. So weirdly enough, a full stack, there are 2 different jobs here. There's a full stack developer that knows a little bit of Java, and there's a Java developer that knows a little bit of full stack. And they are weirdly enough different qualifications that we'd be looking for. So for this, I'm going to be looking for a Java developer with a little bit of full stack. I may switch around halfway through the resume, but right now we're going primarily for Java with a little bit of full stack. So what we need is Java, Spring, Spring Boot, Maven, SDLC, SQL, RESTful APIs or REST APIs, microservices, CI/CD, object-oriented programming, OOP, Git, Linux, Unix, Agile, Scrum, Cloud. Any of them is fine. Well, if you say GCP, you need to say Google Cloud Platform. Architecting or systems, Hibernate, Docker, Kubernetes, Kafka, and rare but nice to have is full stack, which is JavaScript, React, Angular, and Vue, which is different than a full stack, which that's a spreadsheet to the previous jobs I have done. That's not there, which is this. So if you notice, this is different than this, and even if you pause the video, the actual full stack is different. So we're going to be judging it based on this. This person has a ratio of unknown. They said they are on an OPT and trying to get a job. They want to know if I can use this 2-page resume or not. Please review. So if you're on an OPT, I can usually get you a 1 in 30 to a 1 in 100 ratio. If you're not on an OPT, it's a 1 in 7 average, but 1 in 30 to 1 in 100 for an OPT is fantastic. Your chances of getting a job are just that tough, especially because of the massive recession we're in. So 20 seconds on the clock. Can I find it in that time? Don't know how good or bad this resume is, so let's find out. And go. Okay, this doesn't matter. Where's your education? Okay, good. You have it. Okay, working on a healthcare with React and Spring. This doesn't matter. Built out microservices, deployed on AWS. Okay, don't care about this. Develop RESTful APIs. Okay, declined. So, yeah, this does not work. You have filled this to the brim with hot dogs and numbers. Software engineers don't want numbers. There is one exception, is that's if you're applying for startups, but the numbers you want are not these. The numbers you want are the amount of users. That's what startups actually care about, is your amount of users. They don't care that you optimize 40% faster. They don't care that you did 99.9% uptime. They don't care that you did response time under 300 milliseconds. Startups only care about the number of users you had. So if you don't have a large amount of users, that doesn't count. And again, patient records for around 15K patients. Is that 15K users daily? Because it kind of doesn't read like that. Kind of reads that this was just the number of records that people may have to search up, and that's different. So you need to delete most of this. Second off, this doesn't count. Summaries don't count. Remember, Unless it's in a bullet point that shows how you did it and the reason and result of you doing it, it doesn't count. And then you need your education to be up at the top so that we can actually see it. And then we go down here, and remember, this is working on a healthcare platform built with React and Spring Boot. Where's Java? You tell me you're a Java developer, and I don't see a single Java here. The first time I get Java is all the way down here. Why? But Lee, Spring Boot, nope, doesn't count. Does not count. If it's not explicitly stated, it does not count. I don't care that Spring Boot implies X. It doesn't imply anything. Nothing is implied on your resume. What I want to see is built a healthcare platform using Java, Spring Boot, React, and Java, Angular, Vue, and JavaScript. Right? Those are the keywords that I would be looking for this. For our whatever patients. And then you have to give me a reason you actually did this, because I don't actually know what your healthcare platform did, because you did not tell me. Built out several microservices. Again, just say built microservices. The number doesn't matter. Deployed on an AWS, not ECT, just AWS. I understand. Some jobs want ECT or EC2. Not all of them do. Whatever it is pronounced. I know I'm mispronouncing it. Which help the system handle more traffic, which is good. But then again, you need more. Because remember, you need 3 per bullet point minimum. And this only has 2. This only has 2. This has 1. This has... Do I care about Docker? Yeah, Docker's good. Docker's on the list. But the rest of this doesn't count. So you basically filled your resume with bullet points that don't count. And that is why you are getting rejected a lot. And let's face it, on the OPT, that's really going to hurt your chances. So yeah, this doesn't count. And then SQL, and that's it. So all I found in your resume is React, Spring, AWS, and I'm being charitable and counting that, RESTful APIs, Docker, and SQL. If you pay attention, that is not 75% of this. I need 75% of the above to move you forward. That is like, what, 30, 40%? That doesn't count. Especially if you're on a visa, you probably need closer to 85% to 90%. So I need you to delete this and start again, because, like, the formatting is almost okay, but the bullet points are bad. You need better bullet points. Like, remember, the bullet point that says used Java, Spring, React, and Spring Boot, or sorry, Java, Spring Boot, React, and RESTful APIs on an AWS environment to build a healthcare platform to hold our patients' records is better than everything you've said in this entire thing. And then we go down here and the same problem is there. Actually, some of these are slightly better. So stop putting numbers in. Put in what I actually care about, which is these keywords. Again, not keyword hunting, qualification hunting. You need to show how you did it in the reason result, which you also failed at this. You do that, you will get more interviews, because right now you are in an uphill climb based on this visa. Next resume. This is a resume of a product manager. They said they changed the resume based on a lot of last feedback, and one of the opinion note, I'd really like alternate ideas with the problem spotted. Okay, so let's see what they have. But for a product manager, what we need is all of this. So degree, industry, influencing people at all levels of the company, analyzing user data, extracting business requirements from stakeholder and transforming into the product requirements. Basically, a stakeholder is going to be like, hey, I want my refrigerator to do your taxes, and you have to make that into a product. Change the company through data-driven decisions, agile, scrum, cross-functional, 0 to 1, how you move teams faster and proactively solve problems, how you succeeded in the result of that success, that is not a brag, and a couple of these tools. You don't need all of the tools, just some of them. So we don't know their ratio, but let's see what we got. So and go. Okay, MS in management, that's good. Computer science, okay, that's good. Analyze market data and led 5 discovery interviews to identify iteration speed as a bottleneck, okay. Used Agile, Elements, and Python to build plugins and automated repetitive music, saving 2 hours per session. Prioritize product userships for user acquisition, automate music. Convince stakeholders to build an assistant and work with a cross-functional team to build it. All right, and time. This is not bad, but not great. The big thing I'm worried about here is the founder. This may be better under projects. You did tell me that. Or alternatively, just don't say founder, just say product manager, right? Product manager for DJ Auto. Don't even let them know until the interview, and they'd be fine with that. It's kind of a weird thing is that if you made your own company, they're usually fine with it in the interview. They're not fine with it in the pre-interview stage. So the second one is, though, analyze, like, what did you do? Like, this is my big problem with this is I feel like this is missing a bullet point up here that tells me what you do, because I don't actually know that. I know that you analyze market data, and I know that you prioritize a backlog, but like I don't actually understand what you do here. So this could really use something of like what you did, because I don't have an idea of what you do. And then used an agile methodology in Python. I mean, again, Python is kind of a hot dog in this case to build a plugin that automates. Again, this is not really what we're looking for. Like production workflows, yes, but the rest of it is not. Analyze the market data and you don't need to know the number, led discovery interviews to identify iteration speed as a major bottleneck. Like, I like this. I just want you to put in like maybe one more keyword in here, and then maybe switch the keywords from there and put them into here. Prioritize backlog, ship user while planning. Again, there's nothing much really here. You only have one real sentence that's okay, and then I also need another one. And then we go down here, and I actually like this, is convince stakeholders to build an AI-based teaching assistant, work with a cross-functional team to build MVP, resulting in file patient applications. So here's where you lose me, is I need to know the result that is why you did that. And this resulting in filed applications is not really a result, nor is users. So I want to see that resulting in an increase of file applications, right? That's all I need to know, is that it increased in patent applications. Analyze user data and extracted business requirements from cross-functional stakeholders to lead to 0 to 1 deployment of a note-taking app for classrooms. Yeah, that's good. I like that. I like that. I don't know if there's anything more I want from that one. I think that's pretty good. Maybe a little bit more about the reason you did it. Conducted user research to validate that saved hours per week. I don't know if there's anything here that's salvageable. Use Figma. I'm not... see A/B testing and SQL analysis to onboard the flow. This is too technical. So again, some of these are good, but a lot of these are too technical. And remember, your audience is somebody that you need to teach how to do this stuff. So try not to get too technical. Is this the worst ever? No. But you're on a visa and you're going to need extra help. In addition, why do you say currently living in X? You need to state where you're living or if you're moving. But currently living in X is just do this, right? And instead of U.S. citizen, just say located in wherever. So not great, not bad, not the worst, but you're going to need to fix up some of these bullet points. Next resume. This is a resume of a DevOps engineer. So for a DevOps engineer, what we need is DevOps, cloud, and its word. So this is the one time you do want cloud and its word. So like EC2, and I don't actually know what they are for Azure off the top of my head, but as long as I see them for Azure, we're fine. CI/CD, GitHub Actions, Python, PowerShell, Bash, Linux, Unix, infrastructure as code, IAC, although I think that should be lowercase a, Kubernetes, Terraform, Helm, Ansible, bonus for AI, Databricks, and industry. Those are what I need. If you do not have those, 75%, you're not going to get moved forward. This person has 100 to 1, and they stated, this is the newly created resume based on your guide, not the one I was previously applying. There's probably a few knowledge gaps I have, as I'm currently doing a dev boot camp. Be as harsh as possible. Okay, I will destroy your hopes and dreams, which I don't actually enjoy. I don't, but I'm being cruel to be kind. So, all right, 20 seconds on the clock. Let's see what it is and go. Okay, degrees should be up at the top. This should be one, but built and deployed mobile apps using Python and TypeScript. Okay, deployed to the digital containers for some mobile apps. Okay, so deployed RESTful API in Django. What? Is this the wrong resume? No, this is the right resume. Yeah, this is bad. So my problem here is this is entirely not what I want. Like, Python is good, right? But where's literally everything else? Is this the right resume? Yeah, this is. Like, you said DevOps. I don't see a single thing. Where do you even say DevOps at all in here? You don't. There's no DevOps. Like, why do I care that you use TypeScript? This is not a full stack position. I don't care. I don't care that you use DigitalOcean. I don't care that you used Docker. I don't care that you used RESTful API or Node or Django. I care that you use DevOps, and I don't see a single DevOps. I care that you use CI/CD and GitHub Actions, which is okay, but like, this resume does not work because there's literally nothing here that would imply that you're a DevOps developer. I don't see cloud. I don't see DevOps. I don't see PowerShell or Bash. Those are what I need. I don't need these advanced full stack. I need PowerShell and Bash and Linux. I need infrastructure as code. I need Kubernetes. I need Terraform. I need Helm. I need Ansible. And I don't see a single one of those. If it's the case that you don't have it here, then I would not even include this. Yeah, there's nothing here. So what I would recommend doing is deleting all of this, because there's no way they're gonna think they got the wrong resume. So actually, not all of this. So here's what I would like you to do. I want you to only have a single sentence for this job, because it shows that you've been there at least a year. And I want you to put Python, CI/CD, and maybe one or two other of these in the first sentence. Keep it one line. Don't have anything else. Then we go down here and we have actually what it is, projects, okay? Again, don't put the technology here. You have to state it. And then built Jenkins and Java. I don't see it. Where's any of the DevOps? Like, this is my problem. This does not say DevOps. This reads like a full stack developer, which admittedly you got most of the stuff right for the full stack developer. But like, we're not looking for full stack. We're looking for DevOps. This has nothing I would need in any resume. Like, maybe you want to keep this because it at least shows your dates of employment, but only one. But where's everything else? Okay, here's AWS and EC2. But again, I'm not looking for Docker. I'm looking for Ansible. I'm looking for Terraform, Kubernetes. Like, you've got to... The formatting's okay, except this should be one line. You can use the acronym for this. But, like, there's no way anybody would know this is a DevOps resume. I need you to go back to the drawing board with this actual... with these, because, like, it's not working. None of this is working. There's no DevOps. I don't see any of this to be DevOps. And if you only have it in your projects, that's okay. Then we need to lead with the projects after this very brief work history. But even these projects don't show me it. I see CI/CD, I see cloud, and that's it. That's it. That's all I see. Where's the word DevOps? Where's PowerShell and Bash and Linux and Kubernetes? I don't see it. So that's all I can do for this resume. And I just want to thank you all for watching, liking, and commenting. I really appreciate it. If you ever need more help, you can always join my live stream every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 11 a.m. PST at both YouTube and twitch.tv/headlessheadhunter. And I want to thank all of my members who get access to videos a little bit early. Thank you so much for supporting me. I really appreciate it. If somebody wants to be a member, they can join in the link below. But that is it for this video, and I will see you all in the next one to help you get ahead of your job search. Later, y'all.